Hi there. Welcome everyone to our monthly webinar. At least it was like this before. In fact, today we will have like kind of a winter webinar, a 3 months webinar. Why so? I need to apologize. In fact, it's a little bit my fault. So in fact, in December, there were not that many things released. And we had a lot of vacations and official holidays. However, January was very active, and but then there were it was too active and there was simply no time left to prepare for the webinar, so we decided to combine everything and to make this ultra mega winter um, presentation with a new style and tons of updates. So as always, I believe it will take like about half an hour. I hope I can talk very fast to share everything we have done. You're very welcome to throw your questions here in comment section with the ask a question button somewhere here. Everything will be recorded, uploaded to the YouTube, like normal flow. Probably you already know that. So let me share my screen and boom, boom, boom. I have a lot of tabs to share. And we have an amazing basket. We have a new style, and with this new style, we have a new image that was like prepared literally the last moment, um, like yesterday, or yes, yesterday's evening. So now we have a nice doggo, which is already almost a mascot. I think it's very cute. We'll see where we'll have a new one draw every month. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm also very excited about all that. So, what we are going to go through today. So, first of all, we're going to talk about the big updates. It's like, as you see, this time I decided not to group it just only by area, but probably also by the impact which it may have. So, we will talk about the validation rules and about the architect mode, about the mobile, and something else. We also delivered really a lot of improvements in AI. I think it's have enough value to talk about it. I also think it has enough value to have a separate webinar, but separate topic. Integrations, no one expected, but there is enough to talk through, and other improvements in views, files, all that, and of course we'll have a Q&A as always. So again, thank you so much for coming. Some stats. We have biggest numbers. Making it rare means like yay, a lot of things to share. 110 features released in 3 months. That's a lot for everyone, for us, for product guys, for QAs, for developers, for you to use, not to be lost. But good news, if you don't need it, probably you will not find it. Um, or you will find it because we pushed you to. We released a new website. It's in fibery.com, and some product will also receive some more updates and new themes and all that. Um, so yeah, let's start with something that we've done. So the first of all are architect mode and user mode. Even though I really love it, let me share this tab now. I just need to say sorry because I think that the way we handled explanation of it um, is not the best we could have done. So there is, maybe you haven't discovered it yet, but there is such an icon here. Boom, 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 boom. So user mode, and that, in fact, just allows you to have mm, a proper, a cleaner UI. So that was the target, because sometimes you go to the view and there are too many things which you can break just on occasion. You see those databases each time you misclick. So clicking on this had to work to make everything more clean and clear. And also it depends on permissions. So for example, if your normal user doesn't have architect permissions anywhere, he will not even have such a button, or she. You can only have such a button if you have at least one architect permissions in any of the spaces. Um, However, it's you can, as you see, there's like a kind of a shortcut which can turn it off and turn it on occasion. So we had a lot of cases when people turned it off and then they couldn't understand how to bring it back. And we're very, very sorry for that. If you or your team is faced with that, I'm really deeply sorry. And we also had a couple of feedback pieces about what is still annoying. When you integrate a view, you have to turn it on and it collapses all the databases that add in a filter. Sometimes when it is turned off, I just want to add a filter. No way, you have to remember it's about the architect mode. So still not perfect. So what we were doing for the last month, we were collecting a feedback. So if you have any feedback, please let us know here, email, chat, whatever. And we plan to be back to the improvements in this area. So we'll check out what was missing and we'll make some polishment, which you'll probably like or not. We'll see how it goes. So this is about the architect mode and user mode, which can be found here. Cool. Next thing we had is validation rules with access to previous values. So here I even have a document. I'm very prepared this time. Uh, Validation rules, what overall are they about? So it's about blocking some actions with some conditions. So for example, you can't move task to done unless you locked the hours. You can't assign a manager unless it was moved to the almost done state, something like this. And validation rules, they can be found in a database level under the automation rules and buttons. There they are. And in validation rules, you also have access to previous values. So you can check what was the previous value in a specific state you're interested in and rely on that. We have, of course, a detailed guide, a couple of them on that. So let's go through 3 use cases because I think validation rules can be very helpful. They were very popular, so it will make sense to go through them. So for example, you're a sales or product person and you have an account. And this account, we have a sales pipeline, it goes through the stages, and we just have an account which is new, and then we won, and we don't want to move it through the stages. So let me do it like this. As you see, do you see it? Yes, I have some wonderful error which blocked me here. How does it work? I'll go to the validation rules, no skipping steps it is called, and what do I see here? So when the account is updated, for example, state, because this is what will be the trigger. We have a formula which validates whether all the conditions are met. So we say that if the previous state, the one we tried to move the card from, is new, and the next state we were going to move this card to is closed one, we can also have here like or and conditions. No, all good here. In this case, we don't want to allow that, and we want to show the error message like, whoa, sorry, can't close a lead without going through the discovery first. So I will have to go like this and then like this. There is no restrictions on moving from discovery to the closed one, so we see no error here. It can be more complicated. For example, price integrity guardrail. Let's say you have a contract amount and your team member accidentally agrees on a different price, which is quite a lot of different to the previous one, maybe 80% of the previous value. So if we can turn that into the mathematical formula expression, it has to work. So if we go to the deal, to the validation rule price integrity, we say that when we update the deal, for example, amount, and if the new deal amount, the one that we add, is less than the previous amount by 80%, multiplied by 0.8, then there will be an error message. Massive price drop, nothing is allowed. And you can still ask AI to help you here. So of course, AI, yay, ninth minute, I say this word. You can explain how the validation rule has to work, and it will help you with the formula just the way it does in other places. And the last but not least, finish what you started. So for example, have a task, it's moving to the in progress, then back to backlog or open. We are interested, why is it working like this? We add a text field like explanation reason or something. And this is how the rule will look like. Explain your delay. Everything has to be explained. So when the task is updated, the state. Here we have a bit more complicated one. So if the previous name was in progress and the one that we want to have as a backlog and delay reason is not filled in, then we give an error. So as you see, there can be quite a lot of conditions. If you can think of the complexity and formulate it nicely on a paper, there is most likely that you'll be able to formulate it here as well. So this is how validation rules work. There is a nice tip. You can also add a condition based on who activated this rule. So user who triggered the rule. Something like no one is allowed to increase the price but CFO. No one is allowed to delete, not delete everything. There's no like in delete action to move tasks to done, but team manager, because he is the final gate and he will be doing the micromanagement only. Something like this. So you can refer the person who triggered the rule. Fancy? Yes. Helpful? We'll see. So if you have any questions about the validation rules or you're interested to test these kind of cases, I believe that we wrote a couple of guides. I'll show you some proofs. Yeah, I'm just searching for it. Yep. So you will see it here, the names of the formula used, how it looks like, the logic explained. So I definitely encourage you to play around on that. So this is it about the validation rules. By the way, we will have it in the planet slide. Validation rules so far do not support create action as a trigger. So right now it's only update. This is what we're currently working on, investigating whether it's possible to add without huge time effort for the implementation. But keeping fingers crossed, create will also be a trigger. So when task is created, then validate. Okay, another big update which we had, official mobile apps, Android and iOS. If you were worried that your work takes not enough time from you from the laptops and you want to be always online from the mobile as well, ta-da! We have everything. You can like officially install it from Play Market or iOS Store. So this is it. Now, not that many updates. We fixed a lot of bugs. It has to be relatively pleasant to use, if you can say that about the working tool you're forced to use. And that's it. And last but not least here, peanut filters where users can change values. I love it as well. So let me open the tab. So let's say here we have a table is just embedded into the document. It's just like a normal table. And we have two filters here. Both of them are pinned. So this one I can just simply turn on and turn off. And here I can not only turn on and turn off, but I can dynamically choose whose work do I want to see here. Dmitry is underworking, haha. So here we have two types of pinned filters. The first one is like kind of locked one. So imagine you're an admin, and you define what value deals are. So you go to the filter, you say that when amount is more than 50K, then it's a high value deal, and you pin it. So it could appear here. And you say that I'm the person who defines what the high value deal is. I don't want anyone to be able to change this amount. Cool, we just pin it. And the deal owner, we assume that I not only want a dynamic filter like show where deal owner is me, I want to quickly switch between different teammates. So what we had to do before to make like 10 pinned filters with the name of each person. And here we can just make a single one and then turn on the switcher, let users change filter values. This allows me to have this kind of a drop down. We can have it for the priority, like, or how do I call it here, deal type. So, and deal type is any of new business. I pin it and then let users change filter values, turned on automatically. Let's call it type. Okay, is it a new business or is it an expansion or both or only one or renewal or only renewal? There will be no renewals at all. So, and this condition will be remembered per user who clicked it. So admins configures variables for users, and users just click around. It just speeds up everything. So this one I definitely recommend to use. There is a question. I will start answering it right now just because I saw it and it's a context one. So, are there future plans to have filter views switching between Gantt and list views instead of having separate views? This would declutter the side menu. I agree here, but unfortunately, no future plans on like converting different types of views, timeline into board, board into table. Two reasons on that. First one, it's very technically complicated. I mean, it's a nightmare. How do we know it? Because it's not a secret that both our owner, Michael, and almost the whole team were working on a separate product called Target Process. And there they did a feature. And it was really like months of development, very complicated to support, and almost no usage. So not everyone liked it. So we would rather consider like having tabs, or you can use the dashboard, for example. But it's unlikely that it will be done this year, at least, unless we have somehow tons of requests to do it. But with flexible domain, it's really hard to convert it. Um, in terms of filters, I think this is it. We don't have a lot of future plans to improve them. So, yep, I also think that having such kind of filters reduces the number of views you could potentially have, like one table instead of five tables, just because filters are dynamic. Um, this is it about the big updates. What will be the next? Tun, tun, tun. Let's go. AI. Of course, AI is next. So I will talk a lot on that because I think it's really helpful. So, what have we done in terms of knowledges for the AI? Now it reads and searches inside all documents and rich texts. So we have two types of like you could have those standalone documents like this. There we are. New document. And document could be also attached to some entities. For example, I open Health First Medical. I will add here a new field, which is documents. It will take some time. There we are. Ooh, so how smoothly it came here. Yeah. To the newly created one. Now it lives here. And now AI has access to those documents and the content here. But to be honest, like it was a frequent request. This is why it was added. But for the proper wiki documentation, we still recommend to have a document database and have everything as a database. It's not because of AI, but because we still think it is a nice thing to have. But we know that it's really hard to migrate all that. So now AI has access there. Now it understands mentions and links within your text. So in Fibery, you can mention something like with a this kind of symbol. I don't remember how it's called in English. Like we call it dog in my native language. I'm so sorry. Or małpa in monkey in Polish. But yes, this kind of symbol when you mention, for example, users, or the one which you have like here, like this. This is also a mention. And this is also a mention. Two types of mentions. Before, Fibery AI was not aware of those. So for example, if your feature references another feature through the mention or and not through the relation, this context was lost. Now it's here, which is good news. It's just like, it's not a big life of quality improvement, but the precision of the answers of the AI increased. Entity history access. AI can now analyze the full audit trail and past changes. That's a very cool thing. There will be like two nice examples how it could be used. The first one from the real life is Peanut Filter's 10-month feature implementation timeline. So there was a prompt when we opened the feature, Peanut Filters, the one we just talked about, and told, write me an extensive narrative about this feature implementation timeline. Use history tool to see all changes, check all comments, highlight struggles and decisions. Because Peanut Filters, they really took a lot of time it was not the first iteration. Like the first one we implemented, where we're not happy about that, but there was so much effort. Like, when you make a bet, you lose, but you want to continue trying, even though you understand that you will be losing more and more and more and more. But then another product person came, suggested something, and we had to go all again. And AI had the history to all the specifications, comments, and moves of the dates, and the changes of the field state. So it really nicely accumulated it and explained like what was the first attempt, when it was done, when it was put back to next, what was documented, like what have we decided to do. There was a third attempt, which also took some kind of month, some time. So it really checked all the history. It also is aware of our tone of voice. So it's like, as you see, it's very pretty short and concise, like not too detailed. And it gives like the aftermath, the key stats, the lesson struggles, all thanks to the fact that it has access to the history. So if you're interested, for example, I don't know, in something more high level than just a small task, you can ask it. What else can we ask AI here? Through the history, like imagine you were on vacation. Such wonderful. And you can ask, like, I wasn't online this week. What happened in terms of new features implemented? Why I was away? Unfortunately, it will not be great because here we don't have features and there not had many change we didn't have that many changes, but it will be able to answer. You can also specify what specific you're interested in, like I'm developer, I'm QA, I'm a customer success manager, tell me what had happened, I probably can be interested in, and all that. I also use it for analytics. So for example, we have startups which apply for our program for startups, like 6 months for free. And before, I was just having a report, like which shows how many startups do we have this month, and compared, for example, to previous months. I wonder, can I show it here? Do I remember where it lives? Because it just came to my mind that it can be nice to show it. Eh, I can ask AI, to be honest, to find it for me, but you have to trust me. And then I asked AI, like, you're a senior data analyst specializing in SaaS product-led growth. Analyze all startup accounts that converted from our program to this paid plan during this specific month. And for each converted startup, tell me the name, a brief summary of what they are as a business, what are they using Fibery for. We don't collect a lot of data, but we know the space names, the database names. So and it also has access to all the conversations and feedback, so it can connect some dots and at least assume nice use cases, and give me the most areas they're interested in. And if they share the feedback, tell me their like top one unresolved pain point for this 6 months. And it's not possible to do it with reports because it's mixing the quantity and qualitative data. But AI, well, it really did nicely for the last 2 months. I tailored the prompt a little bit. So if you have a question in mind to ask, I would say now it's just more powerful than it was before. Polina Zinevich added configured pre-app database. We'll do it on the webinar. It was like a testing one, minimal feature implementation, just some sample data. As you see, very nice one, even though we don't have that much data here. So this is what about now AI having a history, access to history. Another one is context-bound AI. So logs AI focused to specific database, view, or document. What does that mean? I have a real life example which I want to share with you, which we just had recently on one of the demos. So this is why I just want to open it. Yeah. So the idea is that you can open. So normally when you ask AI about something, it checks the whole workspace and you ask a generic question. Tell me what has changed, find a necessary feature, tell me what was the most the most popular request across the time. And it means like AI is going through all the workspace information, collecting the data, then giving you the answer. But the precision is lower than it could be because simply because it is checking too much things. And imagine you want to have a proper focus. So, for example, here I opened a report here on the right called CFD by features. And then I asked, explain me what is going on this chart. So, when you open a view or an entity um, or a database or something, you will have this kind of tab appearing here. And this tab means that the focus mode is turned on. You can turn it off simply by like clicking this icon. But I was fine that yes, this is what I want. CFD by features, explain me what's going on this chart. It checked out the chart, the configuration, the history, what CFD charts are overall are, and then it gave me a proper explanation. So the tabs, it is aware about the tabs, what is on the x-axis, what it does it show, what is the date range, how does it work, and etc., and overall purpose. So if there is a report and you don't know how is it working, you can ask about it. If you configured a report and it looks a little bit different than what you expected, you can try to communicate, collaborate with AI, explaining what do you want to have as a result, and it will tell you how to fix it. You can open the board, and let me give you also another example, which I prepared for sure. I was prepared. Yep. Like you have a conversation stable database, you ask AI, you choose something here like this, and this. Then you turn on Fibery AI. It is aware of the conversations table that we have open, and it is also aware that those checkboxes are checked, are marked. So you can ask something for the conversation that I highlighted. Tell me what were the most important problems they faced with. So it can explain what's going on this view. It has access to the data, what is inside it. And I think, I hope you will be able to see my screen right now. Yeah. So for example, when I asked this kind of thing here, this is the HTML report it prepared for me. Like the affected conversations, as you see, not all of them, only those that I have precisely chosen. And what were they concerned about? By the way, these HTML reports, they will be improved in terms of design. This is what we are working on right now. I think after today's release, it will already look a little bit better. So you have a massive all tasks board view. It's very cluttered. You want to AI to do some actions like hide all completed tasks and color the cards that have delay reason. This is also possible. So in this case, AI Builder is turned on and it will do the actions required, like update the view. Or we can open a customer and say like, hello, Health First Medical, Fibery AI. I don't need this context. I only need this context. And I can say like, check out what they were talking about. I want to make a reach out. So help me to compose a nice reach out message to them. It will get the context and compose you a nice message, which you have to proofread and make a little bit more humor because I hope you care. This one, by the way, I recently automated for myself. So we have a CRM in Fibery, and we have a state which is called paid lost. So it means that it was a customer, but at some point they charged and they don't pay us anymore. And now this AI agent, it can be used in Fibery automations. It's not something new. We have it for more than a year. But since it became that precise, I told, please analyze this workspace, go through all the history of their adoption and all the history of the communication, and based on that provide me like a map of the travel in Fibery and the churn reason. And it told me why did they sign up, what was the maximum MRR, what was the LTV, what were like primary use cases, did they adopt or not, were the churn reasons specified, when did they start to churn. So like showing, and I also ask it to be no more than 200 words, because this is maximum number of AI words I can personally read at the moment to AI-ish. And it gives a nice overview, like as an AI agent and automation with access to the history and all the context. So when the feature is done, please give me an overview, like who and how long was working on that, what were the troubles, like the number of the bugs, etc. Somebody is subscribing, and new customers come and give me a profile for this customer, because the AI it's not only aware of your Fibery data, but it also has access to the web, so it can Google what the customer is based on their email, domain, and etc. So I would say that this context one is very nice. I started using it regularly. It takes a while to play around with prompts, but it's pretty powerful. Whew. Okay, actionable AI. I will not show here a lot, because AI creation really takes time, and I don't want to waste your time just like on this infinite loader. So AI can create and update reports. Not cumulative one, not historical ones yet. I don't know. Uh, Not sure here from um, product perspectives, because cumulative historical reports, they're hard to create, and if you don't understand the logic, you cannot double check whether AI was correct, and you can rely on the wrong data, because AI created something um, not too close to your initial requirements, and you will not be able to double check it unless you jump into this rabbit hole how the historical reports work. This is why we're still thinking, like, does it make sense, something here? But normal reports, it works. They're very straightforward. Try it. And we also um, made Fibery MCP accessible in other places, thanks to better authentication mechanism. For example, Cloud Code. So if you use Cloud Code or Cursor, you can now point the AI to Fibery tasks or specifications. While you write a code, you can ask the AI, like, implement the logic described in Fibery task 402. So the AI pulls the requirements, acceptance criteria, if there are any technical notes, directly from Fibery into your code editor to generate the implementation. And developers can also like update the work status without leaving the terminal. So they're like recommend you to play around. And if you have any feedback about the MCP, let us know, because this is also something we're working on in terms of performance and improvements. What we have also done about the agent, when I say agent, I mean this guy, Fibery AI. You probably could mention that some tasks some questions take more time to answer, and some are very fast. So under the hood, there are two sub-agents right now who defined how complicated the question is. And if it is simple and nice, it just uses the faster but less intelligent sub-agent. If it is complicated with many details, it goes to the hard mode, takes more time. So, and it uses different models, Claude 4.5 for complex reasoning and Google Flash for rapid pre-tasks. And ultra fast QA sub-agent, now it just goes really, really fast for this. Hope you mentioned. If not, this is also good, because if it would be slower, probably you would see that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Files. This is also something we're working on. It's a big area. We have a dedicated developer, a single one, but still. In terms of developers improvements, now it's possible to have a method to get temporary public file URL via API. We even added that to our API docs. Also, now it's possible to preview the files. So here I have Tech Corp Solutions. I scroll down, I have a file, and I can see it before I download it. Ta-da! I mean, this is probably something you expect, but we didn't, like, we never had it, and it was a very popular request. This is why. Ta-da! I can see it, hide it, and see it again, and no need to download. Yeah, is it awesome? Yeah, I think so. And the new file unit, overall the field, the way it looks like is very new. What is coming? Files and AI. AI will have access to what's going on in your files. It's also was a pretty popular request, and we were waiting for the files to be updated before implementing that. Better file units in table, counters, all that will just look better with, with less bugs. Ability to sort files and ability to upload multiple files everywhere all at once. So just drag and drop, not one by one, but with batches. This is what we have planned right now. Um, this is it about files. Not that much, but small quality life improvements. Integrations. This one is cool. No one expected it, just like no one expects a Spanish Inquisition, but it is here. Let's start from the periods integration because I think it's a great one. I see that we have a question, but we will go to it through the Q&A. So I will go to the templates, and in the templates, I will find periods. So what are periods? There was quite a common um, request, like I want to plan by week, I want to plan by day, I want to plan by month, I want to make week a column on a board, and etc. Um, and each time we were like, okay, fine, let's create a manual database called month, database called week, and all that, and a couple of dozens of automations to make it work, and tons of relations. Not that many things became more simple. You still will have databases with days, weeks, months, quarters, or years, but at least you don't have to create them manually anymore. You can sync them. So let's say I want to have a weeks, months planning. I don't need quarters or years, so that will be it. Default year, fine, number of years, also fine. Time zone, maybe Europe or so. That's it, and this is fine. Integrate, all good here. So this integration just gets all the dates needed as a set, like as a database with some fields. Do we have it now? Yes. Periods. Oh, maybe it's still loading. Yeah, it takes time. A bit more. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that will be it. So now I can see the month, and I will see which weeks does it consist of. I can open the month, right? And I will see the dates it belongs to. I would recommend probably to hide the fields you don't need, um, and then call it technical and hide somewhere in a folder or uh, do something else so no one was aware of this complexity. But even though it's like kind of integrational database, oh yeah, by the way, it will have a type, whether it's a month or is it a week. If we also have chosen quarters or days, it would have this type here. And of course, under the hood, it's a database with tons of self relations. All good here. And since it's a database, we can add relations. So we can say that periods may have a lot of tasks. So if I want to play a task on, let's say, on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, I will be able to do it. And I can also connect the related period, for example, week or month, not manually, but automatically. So I think I prepared something for that, periods. Yay. So I will create a new automation rule. Have a It's an experimental one, yes, but it broke because I deleted. So I said that when task is updated, its due date. Due date is probably a date field which I will be relying on to set a proper period. Then please update its period. And which one? Here I will choose a formula like this. I prepared it in advance, but you can write it on your own. I just say, please compare due date to the dates of the period and find the one that suits me best. I can add here additional filters, like only check the ones which have type week or type month, but I will not do it right now. because I'm too lazy. But let's say here we have a task. I change the due date to April 26th. Did I say the rule? I hope I did. Yes, I did because it automatically connected that now this task is for the April 2026. Quarters are calendar quarters. It's integration with a public calendar. I think there will be such ready document. Yes, check out the user guide. So the user guide is very, very detailed, really. Like it defines what are those, and you can also find the use cases guide, um, how it works, like we call this week's work, calculations per month, per quarter, per year, how to mention periods, allocation management. So if you have any questions or how to make this like more detailed for your specific use case, please let us know. So if your definition of quarters will be different from this integration's definition of quarters, ping us. We will see how it goes. Maybe there will be like another uh, tool. I mean, we can sync information from, and you can have a custom connector which will have the same structure, but instead it will have dates that work for you specifically. But overall, the approach will be very same. It really takes time to wrap your hand around that, but once you have it, it becomes powerful. Not friendly, but just powerful. Yeah. I will not lie that it will be very simple. So this one I really love. I find it very helpful, a bit confusing, but overall like Fibery. Um, Next one is linear integration. We just made it faster. No big updates here. We added Stripe integration. Uh, Finally, an A10 integration was approved. Yay! So now it works. It was done, I think, in autumn, but the approval process was very, very long. And when we import the data, you can just like those fields like number, percent money, okay, number field with a percent money number display option can be specified better. So when you import from spreadsheets money, you can just tell which kind of money are those. And what is coming, it's very experimental, but we're working on something that will allow you to create your own integration with AI fast, relatively reliable, because we have a lot of requests like which are very, very unique, and not everyone is willing to dive deeper into how our custom connector works right now. By the way, we have a nice integrations framework, but not that many people are aware or interested. Maybe AI will help. We'll see how it goes, but so far we don't plan new integrations. Views, we did a lot things here, a lot of different things here. For example, now it's possible to hide everything or bring everything back. When it's helpful, when I create another multiple view, you say like this one will be for account, yeah, almost. And instead of like, imagine you have 100 fields and you need only 2 of them, then it will be just easier to hide them all and to show those 2. And that's it. It just speeds the thing up. Turn unusable into lovable. When you create new field from entity view, it jumps directly. What does it mean? Let's go to this view. Let's say I create a new field, rich text, called it test, and it will be added to the very bottom. It will be, before it will be not clear for me where it was added, but I click on it, and ta-da! Now I can see it, and the jump was pretty smooth. I think this is nice. Copy entity URL with a single click. Yeah, it was not very popular request, but it was really easy to do. So it was a kind of a relatively cheap dopamine for our developer. So there we are on a table, and we showed the public ID as the first column, right? I click on it, and the URL is here. I mean, like, can open it, go, no, wait. Ta-da! So before it was just like this public ID, you had to open the entity and copy the URL. Now it's possible to do from the table. Uh, yeah, this is also something we are proud of. You don't have to deliver something great and big to love it. What is common? Hide multiple entity views via rules. So if we go back to our Tech Corp solutions, as you see now, we have those two tabs. Not all of them are necessary all the times, so it will be possible to create a rule which defines which of those tabs are visible and which are not. Cool? Who knows? We'll see how it goes. I hope there will be no 3 iterations like it was with minute filters, but this one seems so far a bit easier to implement and deliver. This is not only it, we also added option to use mermaid syntax. Here, I have no plans to really show you what the um, mermaid syntax is, but we wrote a nice guide which can be used as an inspiration. This one, using mermaid diagrams for org chats. This is a real one we had from like the use case from existing customer. So imagine you have a complicated hierarchy among your employees. So like we have Sarah Johnson, for her is working Michael Sheen, for him is working David, and David has also 3 employees. They all have those very important titles, etc. And the problem our customer faced, that clicking and uncollapsing all those took time. And if you create a whiteboard, it doesn't get updated dynamically. So you have to, to update the whiteboard each time you add a new record. So what have we done? We created a mermaid diagram, which is getting updated each time a new record appears or disappears. So that's the trigger for the automation, and then draws something nice like that. So overall, just like a walk around for 2 features we are currently missing, but it looks relatively sexy. So if you were missing that, then you're welcome to check it out. Whiteboard also received some love, although a primary developer who was working on that left. Not a primary developer who was working actively on the features on the whiteboard left, but another one is still there, delivering small life improvements like new styles, full control true styles, rotate cards, fixing bugs, not all of them, but quite a lot. And reports also received some love. So we really focused on speed for loading, for interacting with reports. We automatically remove unused fields from reports each month. I will show you a really ugly report. Ugly report, ladies and gentlemen. And when you create it, that's it. As you see, we have like it loads by default all the fields the database this report relies on has, correct? But here, in fact, I use only 2 fields. So now imagine I have like tons of data, and for like each time report is getting updated, it is checking whether each of those fields is used or not. It really affects the speed. So before it was possible to click here and click remove redundant fields. So like remove something we are not using in this report. So if I go here back, I will see only these kind of fields. It overall makes everything faster. And now we do it also automatically under the hood because not everyone was aware. What the hell was that? How to use it? How does it affect my report? All good. We decided to take care of that, and it really speeded up big reports. And as you see, also there is written Polina Zanevich is the owner. So I will explain it a little bit here. So reports inherit permissions of the person who created it. So imagine I'm sorry, like it will be long explanation, but still. I created a report in a public space with some sensitive data. And report doesn't check where it is created. It checks only who created it, whether this person have access to this kind of data to create such kind of report. So this is why I can share with my team financial details from our company, not sharing very details, like just I will create an overview report, but will not provide access to the invoices we create this review based on. And now if my permissions will be changed, the report will also be broken because I'm not the owner and someone else have to come to configure and resave it, like changing the ownership. So the report could continue to show something it has to show. So if you see that there is a broken report, or for example, you like dismissed the person who created it, not clear what has to happen with the data, in this case, you can always check who is the owner, is it the reason, and resave it. Is it the perfect and optimal way? I don't know, but it works the way it works, and we don't have a better ideas. So if you were facing this kind of issues, you probably will be glad that now it's a bit more discoverable, because before you had to come to us to the chat, and we had to check in our logs who was the owner and the creator. Not fancy for none, for no one. Not fancy for customer, for me, for developer. Nah. Cool. Other updates. I think it's one of the last slides that we have. Disable and hide documents for the workspace. So if you go to your workspace settings and go to the general, you will have option to disable documents for the whole workspace. Remember, I was saying that documents is not a cool way to handle your documentation, better to use databases instead. So if you finish this transition and you just want to avoid new documents be created, there is kind of switcher. And for you to know, there were really customers who asked for that. Thanks them so much for that. We purchased the Fibery domain for 10K. Some important updates. Yes, it's not Fibery.io, it's now Fibery.com. Yes, we are proud of this. We also focused on integrations performance improved. Some generic techniques were applied to our integration framework, so future integrations were faster, and also some tool specific where it was possible. So yay, there are no more 90% spikes. Did we have them? No one knows. Maybe we didn't have them even before, but we won't have them again. Duplicate automations to other databases. It's really a time saver. So I have a rule, and it's a random rule on the account. And if I click three dots here, I will be able to duplicate it to any database in any space I have access to create automation rules. So to any space where I'm at least an architect. So if you have for example, you have marketing task and you have developers task, and they're a bit different, but the way you manage deadlines is the same for everyone, for every single team. You're very welcome just to save some time and to apply it there. Custom database access. That's a cool thing for Pro and Enterprise plan. Not very obvious. Nothing is obvious with the permissions. We have a nice guide with explanations, tutorials. If it's still not clear, please let us know and we will improve maybe something, or it will help you at least. But now if you go to the database access, like why overall do you need it? So default set of database access templates, they may not cover your case. And you can define your own custom template. For example, like to allow users to edit, but not to delete the task. It is for Pro or Enterprise plan only. And here you can decide, okay, I want to have a manage templates part, and I will have a Power Contributor. So on the task database, I want to have a template which is called Power Contributor. So by default, everyone can create, view, comment, and edit. But by default, no one can delete anything. I'm just like removing delete capabilities from this database. All databases selected, no databases. This is up to you. You can check some default ones. You can create new templates. You can reorder them so the ones that you need the most were on the top. Up to you. It's very close to what we have with custom access templates, which you apply like on a hierarchy, on a database like entity. Sorry, it's very close to our custom access templates, but it is database access templates. And we really had a couple of cases, pretty important ones, where it was handy. So we implemented it. And we are not done with permissions yet. I mean, this webinar we are done. By the way, you can check the previous one where Anton explained really nicely a lot of improvements made. But work with permissions slowed down a little bit. So there was like this one big improvement since that. And there are still many things planned. I think, by the way, the biggest thing planned, two biggest things planned, is access to users. So right now, by default, when you join the workspace, you can see at least all the usernames, unless you are a guest. And you cannot hide the fields from the user level, so you probably will need to create auxiliary database called employee with the relation one-to-one to user, etc. So it will be possible to manage access to the users, and after that we will start at some point, we will start working at ability to hide things from the admin. Here, the conflict is that many other features that we are working on, for example, validation rules, involved core, and we don't have that many backend developers. And this is why they have to switch the focus. Like if we're working on permissions, we don't work on anything else. If we work on anything else, we don't work on permissions. So there was like a permission spouse to deliver validation rules. This is why only one improvement was here. And it's now also possible to access previous values for rules in trigger features, actions, and markdown templates. Works very close to what we had in validation rules, but with more cases. I need to say that unfortunately I forgot about this big improvement and I don't have any good examples. This is why I will at least mention it. We have a nice guide about that. We have a nice guide almost about everything. What is next? Validation rules on create action. Told it already, but still. AI improvements, way better MCP server. We don't even have, a list of improvements. I mean, we have, but it's too big. So stability, performance, speed, all that. Better semantic search, also better in many cases. Documents polishing. We have a developer who told that he wants to make our documents not great, but a little bit better. Not again, but still. So he's focused on delivering small life improvements features and fixing bugs. So if there was anything very annoying about the documents that you were waiting so long to be fixed, please let us know. Chat, email, here in comments, whatever. Option to create personal folders and favorites. Nice one. Templates per database. Fingers crossed. It was kickstarted yesterday. In fact, it's like having recurring rules out of the box. So templates, this is like recurring per database, like create for me something on a regular basis. We have it in a public roadmap, I think, by the way. Do we? Yeah, by the way, hide interviews based on roles, templates per database. Yes. So pre-populated rich text, hierarchical templates, solution, how is this going to work? So a lot of comments here. No one knows. So you can check it out. If it doesn't cover the cases you have in mind, you can ping us and we'll let you know, was it by design or do we just forgot it. So I definitely recommend it because it was a very popular request. History API. I don't know how it will look like, but it's something our developers are actively discussing at the moment, whether we can open our history API to the public. So if you had cases or questions, you're also very welcome to share them with us. Education. I'm really sorry. It really took more than 30 minutes. It took an hour. I'm so sorry. But 3 months, what can I say? My bad estimations. Sorry for them. So it's possible, like, to custom integration development with AI. It's like a prototype of what we're working on right now, but it's already possible to do something. We experimented, we liked it. Definitely recommend you to check it out. Mermaid diagrams for org charts. Already showed you a sneak peek. How to measure cycle time between two-stage transitions. So in fact, in the backlog, we have a feature to improve the workflow field. So it automatically tracked the time between state transitions and few more things. It's not here yet. It's also very, very popular request. It also involves the core. This is why we have to switch developer from permissions and validation rules and all the important things. So it's like, but it is at least in the vision plan for this year. But before that, we have a guide full of shame, how to measure that with historical reports, because historical reports were the only thing in Fibery that had access to the history. Now AI has as well, so you can ask AI, measure me state transition times. But it's also, if it is very important for you, it's always nice to double check whether AI is correct, and you will still need a report for that. Nice template for the lightweight allocation system, and best practices on keeping sidebar manageable. It's a very fresh guide, appeared I think yesterday, because this one was written by me, and this is why I will talk for 1 more minute about that. So I don't know what about you, but at some point, sidebar becomes really long and really hard to navigate. So you can either go to the escapism, instead you can use search or AI to find something, my way of living. But if your team really sticks to the older patterns, like the tree hierarchy and all that, it becomes more important to clean that to reduce the cognitive load. So we just collected all the advices we ever gave to other people and turned them into the guide. So you can check it out, and maybe you'll have some ideas. We also posted a couple of blog posts, deeper, more like longer reads, but still you can find them helpful. And this is it. 60 minutes. I have like 300, we started at 200, and this is it. Thank you so much for your time. This is not only it. Let me check the questions and comments. And if you have anything on your mind, remember it will be uploaded to the YouTube, and you could drop the question right now. The idea is to automatically inherit such reports by any of the global admins, pass the ownership to them instead of show reports broken. Um, that's a good idea. It will involve developer to do this. Rewriting the history and transferring the ownership by Fibery doesn't seem very ethical. So I have some doubts we will do something like this. I will save it because all the feedback you share here is saved later in Fibery. I will be very honest. Even showing the ownership took a couple of years to decide and to implement. But this one, it will be so far. It will be easier to recreate. But the idea is valid. Um, Boom, boom, boom. There is another. Oh my God, we have a couple of more questions. So nice. So, a quicker solution may be copy pastable filters for the time being. Um, this is a good question. I think it's possible to duplicate filters, but I wonder whether it's possible to duplicate them only within, yeah, it's only possible to duplicate them within one view. I wonder to, I think we have duplicating filters between different views as a feature. We don't have a lot of feedback on, I mean, we don't have a lot of requests on that, maybe yet. A lot of cases are really solved with smart folders. If your case is not solved by smart folders and you still need it, please let us know by the use case, and then there is a chance something will be done. So far, it was just not in scope because it was not very popular. Just found that feature. Do all the tasks not build interactions still use the smart agent allowance, for example, 100 per month, even when using the ultra-fast sub-agent? From what I know, yes, because it's really hard to make the pricing for that. Unlimited is only for enterprise, but we have a specific initiative between growth and product teams to rethink the AI pricing, because the first iteration was that you purchase AI separately, then it was that it is a part of the product. Then we had a lot of questions. Can we buy extra AI credits? Can we connect our own connectors? And there were three other options before, from what I remember. So there is just no good solution here. 100 is something that we can afford with a big number of users for free, if you really need it, especially in the early days, because across the time, not that many people face the limit. But in the beginning, when you experiment, when you train, it really gets consumed really fast. You can just ping us and we'll temporarily increase the your specific limit. thanks God this webinar is not watched by thousands of people, and so we can afford a given promises like that. Yeah, but we can simply increase it if it's a fair use, and all good here, but I don't remember any unfair uses. And at some point this year, I think a more fair and balanced solution will be introduced, because yeah, I agree, it's not perfect, but I can be mistaken. But if you use AI agent in reports, I mean, if with automations you create AI reports in automations, it consumes automation limits, not AI limits. Um, no fun, I think, but yeah, a way uh, to think of it. Oh, I hope those shocking images were not from our product. Duplicating filters across different views. Yes, this is something that we have in plans at some point, but with no YouTube because it was not very popular request, and many cases are solved with smart photos. However, the homepage update was not mentioned, or was it in the first 5 minutes I missed? Such a nice redesign. Yes, it was in the first minutes. I will show you the how it looks like. Yes, yes, because look at this. And nice colors. And city metaphor, we had a lot of discussions. Will anyone get the city metaphor? Can we explain it nicely? That you have a lot of cities or maybe even countries, and then you make a solid city where everything is connected because good urbanistic infrastructure is very important for everyone. And the doggo, yeah, doggo. Doggo, by the way, I think is a shout out. When we had a Fibery anxiety page, do we have it still? Um, there was a Mara who is who is a dog of our owner. Is she? No, no, it's not here. She's not here anymore. Yes, she was one of the owners in the credits, and like she's living in Cyprus, and she was a part of the team, Mara the doctor, and now we have Doggo as a mascot. I'm not sure whether it is a mascot, but it is very colorful, very nice styles. After that, we even had to update to make updates in product. By the way, I'm not sure. Are you aware of that? Um, but preferences. Where are my preferences? Where are my preferences? Yes, there is a theme. You can get a warm theme. I heard it's like very fancy these days to have a warm theme. So we have a warm theme. Yay. The shock was for the trick you just shared. It was a positive shock. Yay! Awesome. Yeah, I think that this is it. That was a lot. Do we have any questions left? Yeah, next time it will be a monthly webinar. It will take less time for the updates, more time for the Q&A. We'll also have a release today. Not sure when. Maybe it was a couple of minutes ago. Maybe it will be. Thank you so much for your time. It was really great having you. And winter is not coming, it's ending, so the spring will come, more sun for everyone. I hope to see you again in March, and have a great day ahead.